your God power. Get everything you ever wanted and live the life of your dreams. The Master's Course. Copyright 2010 by Richard Lee McKim Jr. All rights reserved. Let the quest for knowing begin. Experience. Definition by experience is finding out what is true, real, and believable, and what is not by your own personal experience. This is a powerful way of gaining new definitions. The definitions and meanings automatically come with the proof at the time. When you experience self-esteem, you have a feeling inside that feels incredible. It's a wonderful rush of excitement and pleasure. The moment of victory, a pat on the back at a job well done, the love and appreciation of another all feel great. On the other hand, the feeling of the loss of esteem, such as losing a game, scolding and criticism, and feeling disliked by someone, are all bad feelings that are very uncomfortable. It's only natural that we will always move toward that which gives us good feelings of great esteem and away from that which does not. That is defining our beliefs and meanings by experience. When a child comes into a room full of adults and on the spur of the moment does a cartwheel, the adults all applaud and give praise. This feels great to the child, and as we all know, there will come a second and third cartwheel to entice more applause. The child has learned firsthand that performing a cartwheel generates attention, shows off their ability, and gets approval from the adults. Of course, the child has no idea of the many layers of meanings and beliefs a stunt like that generates, just that it felt great, and now that it is in the category of good things to do. These meanings and beliefs were learned by experience. Definition by experience needs no faith like assertion, no explanation like example. It is just automatically proved because of the resulting feeling gained. It is a fact. That makes definition by experience very powerful. The same is true for experiences that result in a bad feeling, a loss of esteem. A child attempts a cartwheel and falls flat on the ground, all sprawled out in front of their peers. The peers laugh at them, pointing in a disapproving way, while at the same time calling them names like klutz. This would pretty much result in never doing that move again in front of those people anyway. This is a very popular form for children. If you can point out the flaws in another, you appear better by comparison. Let's consider this situation. A group of children are walking down a sidewalk one day when they come upon an abandoned house with an overgrown yard full of weeds and tall grass. One boy, while gazing at the dilapidated structure, is suddenly seized by the idea of throwing a rock through the second-floor window to shatter it. He may have seen it done in the movies or by others, or maybe his own idea just now. He hurtles the rock through the window, smashing it to pieces. He then looks to his friends for a reaction to his rather bold actions. The other children laugh and cheer. One exclaims, "Wow, can you throw a rock?" Suddenly, they are all throwing rocks. Of course, when the other children see that throwing rocks through windows will earn you attention and praise from the others, which is definition and belief by example, they can't wait to get in on it themselves and throw their own rocks. However, once they have thrown the rocks themselves and received the attention and praise from the others, this becomes definition by experience, the most powerful definition of all. A second group of children are walking down the same sidewalk on the same day when they come upon the same exact abandoned house with the overgrown yard full of weeds and tall grass. One boy, while gazing at the dilapidated structure, is suddenly seized by the idea of throwing a rock through the second-floor window to shatter it. He may have seen it done in the movies or by others, or maybe his own idea just now. He hurtles the rock through the window, smashing it to pieces. He then looks to his friends for a reaction to his rather bold actions. One of the children shouts, "What's wrong with you? Were you raised in a barn?" The others look on with shock and disgust. The one who threw the rock has learned, definition by beliefs by experience, that this activity does not go over well with this group. Note, a rock-throwing frenzy does not occur by the others. Once the others saw, definition by example, that throwing rocks through windows receives such scorn by the others, they do not feel inclined to do it themselves. These four sources of beliefs are powerful tools to know. Each one of them has their own benefits and drawbacks, but they will all add greatly to your knowing. It is important to be aware of your own beliefs and cultivate the ones that you want and discharge the other ones that you don't. As we will see in the next story from Greg Braden, beliefs can be more powerful than just affecting how you feel about something. They can actually physically alter your reality. A personal story from Greg Braden. In his book, The Divine Matrix, he relates a story from his childhood that is particularly relevant here. One day in his martial arts class, his instructor offered a challenge to the entire class. He positioned himself in the middle of the room on the soft floor mat that they would normally practice on. He then told them that after he announced that he was ready, they were to try their best to push him over from his sitting position. He indicated that he was ready, and the entire class of students began pulling his arms and pushing him with all their might, and still he didn't budge. Then, as the last resort, the entire class lined up on one side of him and all together pushed in the same direction and still were unable to move their instructor. After the demonstration was over, he explained to the bewildered students what had just happened. He told them that he had become very relaxed and began to concentrate on an image in his mind. In his mind, he was sitting between two huge mountains with chains attached to each of his hands. In his mind, he was unmovable, and no matter how hard the class tried to move him, they were unable to change what he was thinking. It was the instructor's own thoughts that created his reality. In his thoughts, he was immovable, and so it was the same in his reality. He used his God power to change the meaning of his current situation. The situation had its own meaning to start with, in the same way that a placebo pill has its own meaning of being sugar to start with. Like the exercise video example, he could have changed the meaning of the situation by physically sitting between two mountains and actually chaining himself there. That would have been a difficult meaning to create physically. However, as we know, we can change the meaning in our mind just as well, from whatever the current situation is to one that suits our needs, wants, and purposes. That is exactly what the instructor did. He used his God power in the same way that you can use yours to change how he perceived his current situation and was able to elicit a state of being immovable, in the same way as the sugar pill elicited healing from the body. He was aware of where he actually was, but created a different meaning for it, and thus he perceived himself as immovable, and so he was.
To continue, go to How to Use Your God Power, Chapter number 8, Segment number 8. Let your quest for knowing continue.